Hi folks, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL. It's an exciting day. Fellow fragrance YouTuber Mr. Smelly has sent me a bottle of his brand new fragrance, Bon Viveur. In this video, I'll be unboxing it and sharing my first impressions. Stay tuned. Dan Naughton, aka Mr. Smelly 1977, fellow fragrance YouTuber. I've met the man on several occasions, lovely guy. I am so glad Dan got his fragrance brand going and it appears to be very successful. The brand is called Naughton and Wilson. Naughton of course because Dan's surname is Naughton. And why Wilson, you may be asking? Well, he's working with someone whose surname is Wilson. So there you go, that explains that little mystery for you. So the first fragrance release was Gravitas Pour Homme. I love this one. The whole concept behind the Naughton and Wilson brand is that they create fragrances that are very much wearable for the modern man, but sort of nod to classic fragrances. With Gravitas, it's a nod to the classic gentleman's aromatic fougere, but it adds vanilla and patchouli, so it adds this modern element to it. So it becomes this beautiful hybrid fragrance of very wearable and modern, but has these beautiful nuances of the classic aromatic fougere. So love Gravitas, and I believe it sold really well for Naughton and Wilson. So the second fragrance is Bon Viveur. I haven't smelled this one yet, but I'm assuming it does a similar thing where it's a modern, very wearable fragrance, but it nods back to some classic perfumery. This time, I believe it is the chypre genre rather than the fougere. I can't wait to smell this scent. I think it's going to be bright, fresh, invigorating, gentlemanly, refined, sophisticated, all the things that Naughton and Wilson like to do with their fragrances. They certainly did that with Gravitas Pour Homme in terms of making it a refined and sophisticated scent. So I'm going to unbox this right now and I'm going to spray it on myself and share my first impressions. Okay, we're in. So here is the box, obviously very safely packaged. Here's the box in all its glory, and let's just get this thing sprayed, shall we, and just see what it smells like. I've been hearing about this for quite some time now, so I'm very excited to try this. And there is the beautifully pristine bottle. Let's check for fingerprints, see if there's a Mr. Smelly fingerprint on there anywhere. Nope, no fingerprints. Good job, Naughton and Wilson. Yeah, so I love the presentation of these, N and W, very classy, really nicely done. Let's give it a spray. So I'm going to put this on, I'm going to give this a full wearing today. So let's just make sure I've got enough on the hand to properly smell it. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So this smells, it smells quite sweet. It smells very crisp and quite fresh, invigorating. It certainly has got some weight to it. I don't think this is not just a light, freshy fragrance at all. I think this is going to be something that you could wear all year round. I don't think this is just a summer fragrance. By the way, if you're wondering what Bon Viveur means, let me give you the dictionary definition. So, a Bon Viveur is a person who devotes themselves to a sociable and luxurious lifestyle. So someone who likes to make the most out of life, drink good drink and eat good food and go out and have fun and just make the most out of life. I'd like to think there's a bit of Bon Viveur in me. All right, let's, so it's fruity, it's fresh. It's, you know, it's got this little wisp of smoke. Might be the vetiver in here. I'll read you the notes out in a second. I don't know all of them until I read them. But there's just this nice bit of attitude in there from the vetiver, slightly smoky vetiver. So fruity, fresh, and then it's got this slightly heavier base. And it has this really ozonic, invigorating quality. You know, sometimes you've got those fragrances that are quite aldehydic that sort of give you that invigorating feeling that you get when you breathe in fresh sea air or fresh mountain air. It smells clean. Well, this fragrance smells fresh and clean and airy. Very, very classy stuff, seriously. And it's that style of fresh fragrance that makes me think it could come from brands like Penhaligon's, Creed, Atkinson's. Of course, Penhaligon's, Atkinson's, two, you know, British brands. And now it's drying down a little bit. I know there's gin in here. I know there's British gin, and I am getting that really nice, clean, fresh profile that that gin has. Probably has juniper in here. I think that's what creates the gin accord. So let me read you the notes out. The notes in it are lime, lemon, orange, mandarin, bay, basil and lemongrass in the top. In the mid, British gin, clove, pepper, watermelon. In the base, cedar, patchouli, oak moss and Haitian vetiver. I think that's slightly smoky smell I was getting. Maybe just seems to have died down even more than it seemed to in the beginning. And there's some herbs in here and some spices, so it's got plenty of lift. I think this has got great projection. Actually, it doesn't smell like Creed Viking, but it reminds me of why I like Creed Viking so much. It's got the freshness and it's got the refinement, but Viking has depth to it. It's got this smooth sandalwood depth, and I feel like this fragrance has yeah, so sandalwood isn't listed, but it definitely has this depth, this really refined, crisp, well put together depth to it. So it's fresh, but it's backed up with some great base notes, and I think because it seems to have that depth, I feel like it's going to have good longevity as well. I feel like initially the projection is good, and obviously I need to wear this a little bit longer to report back on the longevity. So far I'm really enjoying this. Gosh, do I enjoy it more than Gravitas? I think it's maybe more versatile than Gravitas. I'll just say that at the moment. I'm going to go away for a couple of hours. I'm going to go and have some lunch, do a few other things, and then I'm going to come back in a couple of hours when we're into the dry down and just sort of finish off this video and give you my final first impressions on this fragrance. But so far, I'm really impressed. Okay, I'll see you shortly. And we're back. Okay, it's 3 hours later. I've got to say, I've really been enjoying this. It settles into this clean, invigorating gin accord, but it softens, it becomes a little more rounded, maybe even a little bit creamy, maybe just a little hint of creaminess, which I think balances really well with this clean gin accord. But it's this gin accord that, to me, is the most prominent part of this fragrance, and it's really, really nicely done indeed. And British gin as well, so I'm just loving the Britishness of this one. If you like fragrances like Chanel's Pour Monsieur or YSL Pour Homme, it's sort of along those lines, but I would argue that this one smells more modern than those fragrances. So again, doing what Naughton and Wilson do really well is just balancing the modern with the classic. In terms of the performance, so 3 hours in, I was getting really nice projection for around an hour, and then it continued to project, but it was definitely coming in a little closer for that second hour. And now, sort of 3-4 hours in, it's definitely become much closer to the skin. It's maybe not projecting quite as much as Gravitas did at this point, from what I can remember, but I'm still getting nice, subtle wafts. I think for me, this is a scent I would be more inclined to wear during the daytime. I think this is a very, very classy daytime sort of fragrance. If you just wanted to wear it for the office, if you wanted to wear it for a special occasion, if you've got some special event maybe to wear during the daytime, I think it's fresh, I think it's clean, I think it's versatile, I think it's very mass appealing. So I think as a daytime scent, for me personally, it would work really well. Evening scents, just for my personal taste, I prefer to go for something a little more complex, a little richer, maybe even a little sweeter, a little darker, but that's just my personal tastes. I'm sure many of you out there would really enjoy wearing this as an evening sort of fragrance. Love the presentation, as I mentioned. I think the bottle looks fantastic. I love the detailing on the cap, the N and the W on top of the cap, and then you've actually got Naughton on the front of the cap and Wilson on the back of the cap. So just really nice bits of detailing on there, and it's a hefty feeling bottle, and it just looks great sitting on the shelf right next to Gravitas. The price on this one is £110 for 100ml. If you were interested in picking it up, I will leave the link to the Naughton and Wilson website in the description below the video. So well done guys, I think you've done a great job. I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to enjoying it a lot more. Those were just my first impressions over 3 or so hours. Maybe I'll come back to you with a future video where I can go into a bit more detail about the whole fragrance. But for now, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, keep tuning into FM, keep smelling good, and I'll see you in the next one.